Hey, what's up? What's going on out there? I was checking out this video with Ryan Clark, and he was talking about some comments that RG3 had made about Angel Reese and the Caitlin Clark rivalry that they have. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't watch the WNBA at all. I might watch some highlights. I can't watch it. It's straight ass to me. But I found what Ryan Clark and RG3 said was interesting in like a weird way. But I'm gonna let the video play and give my 1-2.
I think I hate the fact that they're always pinned
Yeah.
against one another. RG3 called what Angel Reese did hate. He said you could see the hate on her face for Caitlin Clark. I'm not really sure when we moved in to being able to read the expressions of a person and know their intent, know their character, know their perspective. But he does understand hate because I think he also understands the hate of self. When you look at the play, which is all we can speak to as professionals, all we can speak to as analysts, Angel Reese pushed one of her teammates. Caitlin Clark had a hard foul, which is part of basketball. I feel like it was assessed correctly. And Angel Reese's reaction is the sort of reaction you get in a situation when you feel like you took an intentionally hard foul. That's competitiveness. That's rivalry. That's not hate. And so now, though, when RG3 jumps on to the hate train or to the angry train, and now follows along with what we saw from Keith Olbermann, what we saw from Dave Portnoy, as they poured on to Angel Reese to make her the villain in Caitlin Clark's heroic or hero story.
Right.
The one thing we know about RG3 is he's not having conversations at his home about what Black women have to endure in this country, about what young Black women.
I had to stop it right there because I don't know if you all know, but another interesting tidbit of information. But Ryan Clark has a so-called mixed race child uh, from a previous relationship. I think is his older kid. I didn't know that at all. I just found that out not too long ago, and I say that because if you any of you who follow him out there and know that he's like this big quote unquote pro bliggity black guy, and that's what he preaches and that's what he stands against. He's a big race hustler to me, in my opinion, and it's just interesting that he has that daughter by a so-called white woman, but he's holding RG3's feet to the fire about this, and I don't know why. Again, well, I know why he's making it a racial issue because pandering pays, but it's just extreme competitiveness. I saw the play, I saw the highlight. It was just a hard foul, nothing to it. But, guys like Ryan Clark always find a way to put the racist spin on it, But the RG3 situation, him talking about it and saying that Angel Reese has genuine hate in her heart for Caitlin Clark, I don't know that. I couldn't tell. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not for sure. But it's funny that Ryan Clark is saying this, knowing that he has that situation with his kid. He has a kid by a so-called white woman.
And athletes like Angel Reese have had to deal with being on the opposite side of Caitlin Clark's rise and ascension into stardom. Now, when you look at it, I think Asia Wilson is the face of the league. Asia Wilson is the best player in the league.
That's another thing I've noticed too. Like every time I see a Nike commercial or something like that, or shoot something, they're always pushing this chick. I've seen her play; she's straight. But to me, what's going to draw fans is going to be people like the younger generation, like Angel Reese. She kind of sucks to me too. And Caitlin Clark, I like her. She can hoop. But it's going to be more so these younger players that's going to bring that new life, breathe that new life into the WNBA. That's the fact, Of course, they have to respect, the older players that came before them. But that's the truth. That's how they're going to get all newer notoriety.
Caitlin Clark is the most important player in the
Right.
WNBA. And a ton of her fandom has come along with some racial bias or some racial pieces to why people love her so much. And so now, if you're RG3, when is the last time within your household you've had a conversation about what she's dealing with? You haven't been able to do that because in both of your marriages, you've been married to white women. You
Hold on, Ryan Clark. Were you able to do that when you had a a child by a so-called white woman? Did you have those conversations with her? Hell no.
Haven't had opportunities to have those conversations to educate you on what they're feeling, what Black women deal with, what they're seeing when they think of a young Angel Reese. And the whole time that he's mimicking Angel Reese and bobbing his head and moving his neck while he's doing this whole piece, his wife is in the back amening and clapping. And so to me, it's just another situation that now this young lady has to deal with. When I worked with RG3, he would make all of these sort of corny jokes about milk and how much he loved it and how important it was. And he always points out on social media the color of his wife's skin, as if the color of her skin is what makes her special, as if the color of her skin is what makes her a good wife. I've met the lady, I've had a conversation with her. Right. I think she's more than that. But it also leads to what Black women deal with a lot from Black men who have chose to date or marry outside of their race. They always feel like they have to go the extra mile to prop up the woman that they're married or the woman that they're with over Black women by denigrating Black women. I feel like we should have an opportunity to move past that and understand that Angel Reese can be great in her own right, as Caitlin Clark is as well. Caitlin Clark is a likable and lovable superstar. She pays homage to the stars of the past. She pays homage to the Black women that have come before her. And now
Fred Taylor just sitting there looking like, man, I don't want to hear this BS, man.
she is carrying the mantle forward. So there's no need to pin those two against each other and paint them based on stereotypical tropes. And I think this is what I'd like RG3 to know, that no matter how much he continues to echo the microaggressions of racists, he'll be no less Black than me.
Now that's the end of the video right there. And like I said, Ryan Clark, to me, he's overcompensating because he knows the situation he has with his kid, like his older kid, having a child by a so-called white woman. So for him to point the finger at RG3 is mind-boggling to me, because he's in a similar situation. Well, he wasn't married to the child's mother, I guess, but he had a baby by one. So for him to go above and beyond, it's kind of showing that he's trying to push where he's trying to overcompensate and show, hey, look, look, Black women, I'm here for you, I care for you, even though he had a baby by a white woman, which is oxymoron. That's why I can't stand some of these guys that get on TV and get on the internet talking all that crap about so-called pro-Black this, pro-Black that, but behind closed doors, they having a relationship with so-called white women and having children and procreating with them. So that's that was just a big red flag to me. And when I found that out, I was just like, damn, it drove home the fact to me that it made even more sense why he's just overcompensating and just being such a race baiter, But RG3 is a lame too, so he's not absolved from any criticism. I remember when he played in DC, and he's just a big cornball too. But that's my 1-2 on it. Leave your commentary. Let me know what you think.